If you're 45 or older, go ahead and talk to your doctor and get a colonoscopy. Hi, everybody. Have you ever had one of those days where everything works well, think you're ahead of the game, and then all of a sudden everything falls apart? Well, maybe not everything, but a little later than I thought we were going to be today. Um, Really, we don't got a whole lot to talk about. Because I was, like I said, I was late today getting back home, and I wanted to set up a couple of things. I wanted to show some plants today. Um, and I don't know, BS maybe a little more, but like I said, I had no time to prepare for this now. And what we're doing is we're sending a little package of some honey and some biochar, some homemade biochar to Scotty 420 Wet Basement Grows. He's unaware about the biochar right now, but it's a free to use, but use at your own risk kind of thing. I have used it. It's very fresh, but I've used it top dressed in on my pepper plant, and it just shocked it awake for spring. And then I put it on top, just covered the top of the soil of uh, 3 autoflower sprouts and 1 white widow clone. And so far, they're doing fine. So I don't see any issues with the biochar not being fully activated. Seems to be working well. If he wants to use it, I don't know if he does any outdoor, or if he doesn't do any outdoor. Sure enough, he can give it to one of his friends. So, and then he could always use it inside too. I mean, depends on your IPM. Um, I know just about anything can probably live in it and live off of it. But yeah, I don't know. Just a thought. Anyways, we're just gonna wrap up. We're gonna pack a little box here with our honey bear. That's 2025 season. Of course, we're just getting into the 2026 season now. It's gonna go into one of these compartments here. Looks like that one will be the best one. Close it up. Like I said, that's the biochar here. Homemade activated charcoal. Then it was smashed down and inoculated or charged with urea and rabbit crap extract. And then after it was charged, it was fortified with rabbit and deer crap, which is cold composted, safe to use. A little bit of turkey tail mushroom that I ground up real fine. And then some of my insect frass, which is ground up honeybees, dried out and ground up. The only thing that I would like to have put in there that I don't have right now is some of my blue clay mixture. It's natural blue clay from a cattail marsh, the bottom of a cattail marsh. As soon as we get a little more thawed out around here, I'll be able to dig up some more. But it's not an essential part of this, but it's kind of like my all-in-one kind of handful of amendment of things like that you're not going to usually get in your bag well, you could probably get all that stuff in a bag wherever, but I'm only finding like bone meal, blood meal, nightcrawler or worm castings, stuff like that, Epsom salt, at my local Walmart. Um, and they do have a couple other things, hit or miss kind of items, but I mean, all I put in this is, like I said, the deer crap, the rabbit shit, um, uh, activated charcoal, honeybee frass, and uh, the turkey tail mushroom. Blind Neil, how you doing, brother? Thanks for stopping by. Want to do a toke? I want to do a toke. I know you're always down. Sorry, this is my garage. Actually, I don't smoke in the house, so all my bongs are garage bongs. But I have a personal use all the fucking time that's gonna get dirty bong, and then I have a freaking one for when friends come over. So that's always the clean one. Um, let's see. Hope everybody's doing well. It's first day of March today. Just a happy little note. We're only 7 days away from my 54th freaking birthday. Believe it or not. Um, as you guys know, if you've heard the beginning of any of my shows, it's always started with if you're 45 or older, call your doctor and schedule a colonoscopy. That's because when I turned 49, I was basically dying of colon cancer, and they gave me 1 month to have surgery and get it out of me, or they would just be able to only make me comfortable because it was getting ready to spread. It already went to my lymph nodes. They pulled out all the lymph nodes in my stomach or in my insides or whatever you want to call it. And the cancer had already spread to 3 of those. So it was really, I got freaking lucky. I had to do 7 months of 2 different kinds of chemo during the midst, actually the beginning part and the midst of COVID. So that was fun. But anyways, it started out with, I wouldn't have been here for my birthday this year if I wouldn't have done that. So there's a lot of people that I know they knew they were having fucking problems, people. If you got colon cancer, you know it. And it's your fault if you don't get checked out. It was almost my fault that I freaking died. It's my fault that I have to live with this shit. But let me tell you, I'm happier than fuck to be here. Even though the fucking world's crazy and shit. So, I'm going to top this off with a little bit of my dry sift here. Just got done with work. Went and picked up some pizzas, ordered pizza, went and picked those up, got there, and they screwed up the order. So only one of the 2 large pizzas were even started. So we ended up getting a free pizza out of it, but one of them was cold then after that, bastards. All right. Sip before you rip. That's shout out to Crumbleweed there. Anybody watching the future? Blind Neil here. He's good dude. You can check him out. He's got a show, does a bunch of lives where he pokes so many bongs, dude. He's got like a rack of freaking bong already made up bowls. And it doesn't take, all you got to do is suggest, hey, Blind Neil, let's do a bong rip. And he's got one ready. And he's probably waiting for me right now. Cheers. If you guys are in my area, the gas prices have been kind of lower average for the area. And it's still that way right now, but it sounds like tomorrow there's going to be a gas price raise, a gas hike. So if anybody needs to get some gas, they might want to do it tonight. Sounds like, I don't know where the price per barrel is right now. Last I've checked, and it's been about a year, it was right around $60. Sounds like it's going to go up to $80 a barrel by tomorrow morning. Actually, it already happened Friday, but they're kind of waiting in this area. I don't know what the hell's going on in other areas. But right in my area, North 35 E35W split in Minnesota, it's been pretty low compared to the national average and even the Minnesota average. Our store is going up tomorrow morning. So I imagine the rest of them in the area are going to follow suit if they aren't already. But then after that $80 a barrel, it's expected to go another $20 higher in the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be $100 freaking dollars a barrel again. Just saying. You can thank your neighbors. And that's all I'm going to bring up about politics. Anyways, we're going to wrap this gift. This is a freaking gift for Scotty Wet Basement. This is my first actual, donation, let's say, to the community. And I plan to get some more going. I'm really dependent on sweat equity for my cash. So if I don't plan it out, I don't always have the cash to freaking do things. Cash ain't a big deal to me. Okay, I produce a lot of my own stuff. Anyways, but I do have a little bit of cash, and I don't know how. It's been a while since I've mailed anything through mail, but that's a couple 3 pounds, 4 pounds, probably 3 pounds altogether. I don't know if they freaking charge by the pound, the size, whatever. We're gonna set it out anyways, and then I will in the future try and make allowances for this kind of stuff. I've only got 2 barrels of honey left is part of the problem. One of them's going to Scotty. And then once I figure out how much this stuff costs to ship and everything, and then I don't know what it costs to Canada, and I'd really like to get some of this stuff to Canada too. But I have one more bear, and it's already marked for another growmie. All right. So yeah, I mean, I want that to happen in the future. There's like these slaps and things that everybody are sending out to everybody. I'd love to be able to do that, but it's not. First of all, I don't have any of the knowledge on how to do any of that stuff. I know it's possible. I'm going to be working on it this year. Was working on getting my YouTube game going and figuring out how to use this camera with YouTube, which now we know how to use this camera with YouTube. I probably need some more light. What I'm going to do, pick these up at our local dollar store, or now it's like a dollar something store, but these happen to plug right into the side of this laptop in the USB ports. And I noticed when I was watching this last show that when I move around, it was getting blurry. So I don't know if that's because I was watching it on this TV back here, and it's Wi-Fi to the house. This laptop is being produced into the house via Wi-Fi. But I noticed before that if I had better light, there'd be less blurriness. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, we're going to cut up some of this paper bag here. We're going to wrap our gift. I'll show this again in case anybody hasn't seen it, because we're going to be cutting up some more here, or it's going to take a few minutes to cut this up. We're sending Scotty 420 at Wet Basement Grows some of my homegrown Minnesota 100% natural honey, and some of my own homemade, just finished, although I'd like to have some blue clay or some rock dust in here. but we're sending some biochar. It's activated. I've used it, it's tested. It's actually on some seedlings right now. And they're not even seedlings, they're sprouts. A couple autoflower sprouts. And I figured that'd be a good test. If autoflower's growing it, fucking anything will, I imagine. But I also used it. I also used it in my indoor pepper plant, and that thing took off like crazy. It looked like shit, and still does everywhere except for where the new leaves are coming out. So I don't know. But yeah, so biochar, honey. Figure out which way we should do this here. Probably just cut the bottom of that bag off. I think that's going to be the trick. Our biochar was made with activated charcoal, which is a standard. Insect frass, which was honeybees, dried up and ground up honeybees from this year's die-off. And then some ground up turkey tail mushroom. Now, there's nobody ever told me to use this stuff. I heard mushroom in general is made out of chitin, which is the same thing that your insect grass is made out of, which is the same thing that is in your crab shell, ground crab shell that they sell. And being, sourced right out in my yard for one. And then I'm talking my frass and my chitin in general, but the frass being sourced right here, I know it's all clean. And if that mushroom doesn't do anything as far as a nutrient or not even a supplement, if it just, I was thinking maybe it would give us some fungal activity on top of the chitin aspect. What do they call it? I've heard it called so many different things now. It's when you stress your stuff out. Active response, or I should write some of this stuff down, right? Basically, you get a response that benefits you or what you're looking for, but it's actually, it's making trichomes and trichomes with your cannabinoids and terpenes and stuff in it. Hopefully, it's increasing the amount of those. The only way I'd really be able to tell is by do a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, so it's not really going to be a scientific real deal. Oh, but anyways, if it doesn't do any of those things, it's at least going to build the structure of the soil that I'm in, and I'm using recycled mounds. I've just been amending these mounds. And really, this year will probably be the first really good test of the mounds. Because I'm assuming there's prior nutrients in them from years before. I can't say for sure. I know a lot of them would have washed out over winter, so we get quite a bit of snow here. But up till 2 years ago, I'd been using any kind of salt fertilizer I could find, really. Whatever was cheapest, whatever was available. A lot of times places in my area aren't going to have everything all year round for, growing stuff. You know, maybe down south you might be able to find a good amount of fertilizer on your store shelf year round. But here in Minnesota, there ain't a lot of use for fertilizer until now, the last couple of years, actually, since Minnesota went legal. I've been seeing in like our Ace Hardware, which is kind of a local brand chain store hardware. It's smaller now than it used to be, but they have a little spot where they have their hydro. I think it was General Hydroponics, and then trying to think, they had some dry amendments like guano, and they might have had some worm castings, maybe some chicken manure. Anyways, so we've got our paper package nicely put together. Hopefully that tape sticks. Just some random tape I found that I saw I could cut it with my fingers, so I like that, being able to tear it with your hands. Now I'm gonna cut out this label here, and then tape that right on the front, and we're gonna be good in the hood. That should be good there. I don't know, should I make it smaller than the, yeah. Let's see. I don't know if anybody else was having a live today or not. I really didn't check any of that. Not trying to interrupt anybody's stuff. I just wanted to get this documented. Wanted Scotty to see it. He sent me a verification from the post office or UPS or whatever that I'm getting a package myself. So we'll be doing a mail call for that. In the next couple of days. You never know with our postal service. We're the last house in our town's mailing area. So our neighbors over here are from the next town down. And occasionally I'll notice that if we don't have any mail, I'm assuming we're not supposed to be getting any mail delivered here, they won't even come to the house. Now, only reason I know that is because I put some mail out with the flag up, and it had been the night before. And the next day, 9 o'clock at night, the flag was still up. So I know we don't mail a lot of stuff from here. So maybe they weren't expecting. And neighbor's house is probably about 500 or 600 feet from here. So I don't know if they, maybe they thought they didn't see the flag up, but I know they would have had to, well, unless they skipped the neighbor's house too, of course. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Just popped on to do this. Let's, so found another growmie in our area that wants to plant a couple of plants and wants to use good genetics. And I tried some of his stuff from last year, and it seemed to be pretty decent. I know that area pretty well, and he shouldn't have a whole lot of issues with seeds. There will be seeds. I'm talking outdoor. There will be seeds, but probably not a lot. I wouldn't think a lot. There were some plants of mine grown in that area last year, and there was very, very minimal seeds. So we should be good that way. Now, he does have a regular garden. I don't know how he grows. And I don't know how he cures. The cure seemed, or I mean, the dry seemed to be decent. It probably could have been a little slower. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think it was he started them from seed, so he probably had a pretty decent. He had pretty decent luck starting with seed. From what I saw, his outcome was. That would be going back to like bag seed. Bag seed good. You know, you can get really shitty bag seed and you can get decent bag seed and you can get really good, but the really good is few and far between. Most often or not, you're going to get something that's halfway decent that you can smoke if you take really good care of it and freaking grow grow it to its fullest potential and then cure it right. You'll have pretty good luck. There's been plants in the past before I knew, everything I know now, which is compared to back then to now, it's hand or day and night. There was plants back in the day that right away when they were dry, I tried smoking them. The problem is my first couple of runs when I was younger, I had amazing luck. And I don't know if it was just the weather worked out perfect that year to where it cured or dried well, to where by my third or fourth year, I didn't have that kind of quality, and I'm still using bag seeds at that time. I didn't have that quality to where right away it tasted good, but after a while it could have cured and tasted better. Bad enough to where I was like, oh, this stuff tastes like shit. Shit can it. It's not worth it, you know? So I could have had a decent one after a cure and dry and just tossed away because I didn't know. I mean, we didn't have this kind of information we do now. I am very, very, very thankful for all the growmies in our community um, that give out the information they do and try and support and help people, other people. And it's just incredible, incredible group of people in our cannabis community, for lack of a better term. Cheers. All right. It's Sunday night. I know there's probably a couple of shows on. I'm going to go grab some pizza. And tomorrow morning, this package is going to get sent to the post office and mailed out to our brother Scotty. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. Peace out.